Okay, here we go. Uh, let's take a look at these images. This is what I edited before. It looks a little extreme now. I might decide to actually pull back on that a little bit. But anyway, let's take a look at what we can do with some creative uses of Photoshop. So here's our initial image. The very first thing we're going to do is we're going to crop. Boom. And I might make this video in a couple parts, but we'll just have to see. I like all this stuff up here and how it kind of creates this nice curve here. And it looks like your ISO might have been a little bit high, and so you lose a little bit of that color. And so we have to start thinking about what colors are in here. So I see pink. This should kind of be mirrored in the bottom. And so we're probably going to do a little bit of work to mirror those colors. We're a little underexposed. A little more. And then you can see overall the image is a bit noisy. So we'll go down here and we're going to add a little bit of luminance until we get a nice kind of soft background there. Something a little bit more palatable. A little bit smoother. Bring a little sharpening in to counteract that. Dehaze. And let's bring in some color and see what the image actually looks like underneath all this haze. Okay. And so we want to mirror the color from the bottom to the top. So we've got a pinkish blue here. So you want to bring in the pinkish blue here. Maybe yellow line there, yellow line there. Not too much. Yeah. Okay. Looks a little crooked in the frame, but my brain's a little crooked right now. Go slow. Let's kind of bring this image up a little bit. It's starting to improve, starting to look a little bit better. Kind of keep teasing out the colors, keep teasing out the picture little by little. We find something that we might like here. Cool. So let's import it over into Photoshop. We're going to edit in Photoshop. You want to edit a copy with Lightroom adjustments. Otherwise, you're going to be editing the original, which would just be the original version. But we've done a little adjusting in Lightroom. Different people do it different ways. Some people do all their adjustments in Photoshop first and then bring it back to Lightroom and then finish. Great. Okay, it's just going to be quick and dirty here. We're not going to do cloning in this lesson. We're just going to do straight layer masking. So layer mask, you can use a lot of different things with layer mask. Let's say that I wanted to make a saturation layer mask. I wanted to make sure that background nice and bright, but I wanted to leave the bird, alone. I could take the brush tool and then desaturate the bird, and now my background is still saturated. But I do want to actually bring the bird up a little bit in color-wise. And if you can see as you bring the color up, there's a green band here. Green band's a little distracting, so I can actually go here and take that green out a little bit. So you don't have that kind of distraction. That's what it looks like when you take it all the way out. There it is when it's totally amplified. It's a little distracting for me. So curves layer is how we're going to brighten this bird and isolate the subject. So you can do this two ways. One way is you can darken your background and then lighten the bird. That's one way. Gives you kind of a moody look. I'm going to take that. Another way is to lighten the image. and then press Command I or invert the image. So you can get an image. I don't even know how to, oh, wait. I only know Command I does it. So you want to invert that image, right? Just like that. You can see that our brush strokes are still here. So if I option and click, then I can see where our brush strokes are. And so, oops, I want to take them out. And so how I'm doing that is I'm using positive and negative channels here. And so I can switch between the two. A positive channel when you're in the positive here. That's the positive channel. When you draw on the image, it brings in the light. So that's what that looks like. Not so nice, but we can actually get in here and paint on our bird. And I don't know if you'll want to keep this image afterwards. I don't know how you feel about it, but I'm going to do this quick and dirty, but you can get really tight and really close with it. And if I see I broke the line there, made a little halo effect, I go to the negative channel. If I go to the negative channel, I can just erase that right back out. Very easy. And again, I just want to do this really fast, just to show you, because you're going to get lost in this. This is something that can be easily overdone, can also be easily underdone. A lot of people tend to underdo it when it comes to importing into Instagram, but you know, if that's your main desire for your work is to post on Instagram, then you can push your images a little bit because it's a fallen frame and mistakes don't really get amplified. But for competition or for selling prints, it's good to re-edit your entire image and do things a little bit more conservatively. Make sure that your image looks the way that you want it to. So this image that you decided to send me is starting to look a bit different than when you sent it. You can, of course, check what the coverage looks like by option clicking and making sure that, you know, some of these dark spots are covered. The legs are kind of an interesting thing to work with, especially in this bird. I think I'd probably leave the legs alone. It's good to hit that bill a little bit, but you can see there's a lot of luminance noise in here, so you don't want to go too crazy with it. So yeah, now that you've colored in the bird, then you can go completely insane and wild with it. But I tend to ride up in this line right here when I'm working on brightening birds because it doesn't mess with the contrast too much, where this blows your highlights really easily. This area up here from this line over tends to be a bit more gentle when it comes to working with highlights. Yeah. So just for this tutorial, I just want to show you what you can do there. Go ahead and mess with all these tools when you get the chance. Everything is here. Contrast, saturation, brightening. It's all there. Easy to work with. And so now we've got it back in Lightroom. This is my previous edit that I did earlier today for you. This is our edit that we're working with now. So you can kind of see where we went with all of it. We went from here to here. And so you can see the power of these tools, especially when you go to work on your egret later. You won't have to get as crazy, because this looks pretty kooky. I'm not gonna lie, I think it looks kooky. But this one's a little bit more pleasant. And so you just kind of have to keep messing with it, keep working with it again and again and again. Ooh, so you took down the highlights there, and then brought back some of the detail in the back of the marble bucket's back that was lost. You know, so just keep messing, keep working with it, and then stuff starts to come together. Yeah.